So, the Switch 2 has been out for a hot minute, and everyone's been wondering when they're gonna get their killer app. But I'm here to let you know that you've got it twisted, because what you've been waiting for is, in fact, a killer ape.
Oh, that's so bad.
The game starts deep in the mine shafts of Ingot Isle, a place where Donkey Kong is enjoying a regular day of blue collar and red necktie work, before his rock-smashing shift is interrupted by the entire island getting dragged underground by three sinister simians with a distinctly corporate scumbag air to them. It seems that these shifty apes have helped themselves to the precious crystal bananas that were being dug up by DK and his crew, and they're using them to power a colossal digging machine that is heading ever downwards. Before our hero even has a moment to comprehend that the interior crust of the planet seems oddly spacious and livable, he encounters a talking rock and sets off on an adventure to save the day. But mostly just to get his bananas back. And so, your journey begins digging downwards and discovering that there's an entire world that was living beneath your feet. This is probably the first wondrous element of Bananza, these spectacular environments that serve basically as your level structure for the game, each with a unique theme and locals that live there and were largely undisturbed before, all that stuff happened above the ground. Some of them are even animal tribes that have these enormous spiritual leaders that are called elders, and they're all too willing to share a Bananza transformation with you if, DK takes the time to help out with a local issue. Now, it's never really explained why every single one of these leaders has become a DJ in their retirement, but I think it's a great excuse to enjoy a huge musical party scene whenever you unlock a new super form. That, and I think retirement homes could do well to have more music in them. The first of these actually manages to reveal that your odd talking rock friend is actually a young girl, and it's none other than a 13-year-old Pauline from other Nintendo media. Now, this obviously begs a ton of questions, but the game never bothers to answer any of them, or in some cases, outright contradicts any theories you might be forming, so you're better off just going with it. I mean, the goal here is to clearly have fun and not to plot out a comprehensive Donkey Kong history. And, they're not going to let something as silly as timeline consistency ruin an adventurous romp with a lunkhead ape and his darling singing child companion.
I can't believe I danced!
So let's address the gorilla in the room. Donkey Kong Bananza promised terrain destruction that has been unseen in gaming proper for literally decades. There's some sweet AA space things going on.
Rock and stone!
But it's long stopped appearing as a spotlight feature in AAA space. So, Bananza busted its way onto the scene with a debut trailer that felt pretty ambitious, and a deep dive Nintendo Direct that really hit home with the idea that yes, you can smash it. So let me say it loud and clear. Yeah, you really can smash it. Lots of it. This really is the core identity of the game. Yeah, it's about Donkey Kong, and sure, it's an open-world 3D platformer, but this is a game about digging, burrowing, smashing, just genuine freedom that I don't really think I've encountered in a game, really ever. Besides digging, Donkey Kong can also make use of the earth in other ways, such as climbing on it is one thing, or picking up chunks to either throw at enemies, solve puzzles, or even surf across it. But let's not forget that little girl that's sitting on his shoulder.
Okay, let's go!
Pauline's job is to bring a little beauty to the brutality of Donkey Kong's massive fists, offering her lovely singing voice to round out the duo's capabilities. The most common use for this is getting rid of purple void code zones that impede your progress in different ways, either by restricting access to challenge rooms, or locking up void code terraformers that stop the ground from being destructible. Little P's biggest contribution, though, is by far the Bananza transformations, where Pauline can croon one of the Elders' music tracks and have DK turn into a giant hybrid creature powerhouse, with a unique moveset for a variety of occasions. Now, the marketing for this game had me thinking that these super forms would basically turn the game into a pseudo-Metroidvania, with all manner of neat goodies appearing just out of my hairy arm's reach until I get the requisite beast mode. But the truth is far more exciting. You see, your powered-up transformations instead serve as a readily accessed tool in your gorilla utility belt. unlocking more opportunities and further expanding the world's destructive potential. Any other game would probably put such an impactful mechanic behind like a long cooldown or a restrictive resource that forced a little consideration from the player before they get to hit the big red go button, but I really can't stress enough how little Donkey Kong Bananza cares about any kind of limitation. If you want to turn into an enormous mega ape and quite literally go bananas with destroying the entirety of a puzzle room for the sake of removing any obstacles, go for it. Getting that super meter back happens in a snap, so why not? With this set of options at your disposal, the game then settles you into a loop of exploring these magnificent open zones and shaping them however you see fit. And I mean, while the actions of Voidco are concerning from a narrative standpoint, the game has a clear younger audience facing need, so there's no real immediate sense of urgency. I mean, that's a signature of a Nintendo developed game. But the sense of reward within Bonanza feels so much more poignant when you are literally digging up exciting things to do. This all plays beautifully into the other surprising element of the game, being that this time the leader of the bunch is packing a full-blown skill tree, filled to bursting point with impactful upgrades and exciting player growth opportunities. Now, I know that when I first saw the skill tree, I was concerned that this would be one of those cases of all the fun things are locked away for later in the game. However, they have made sure that every skill point upgrade just makes the game even more fun. Upgrading your fist strength means that you can dig faster through harder materials. You can increase your health pool if you feel that you're not very good at dodging. There's even a bunch of Bonanza transformation targeting skills that just make them better. If you like using a particular one, make it even cooler. Why not? Speaking of banana gems, it's worth pointing out that they actually play a little bit differently from what you might expect. I mean, you're probably quite familiar with DK's overall wearing nemesis and how he carefully covets every star, shine, or moon that he uncovers, with each adding towards a total that dictates whether he can progress to the next location, but that's not the case here. Instead, Donkey Kong will just gleefully smash and scarf down every crystallized banana you find, and every couple of bananas will give him a skill point. Easy. Gaining Banandium gems also just serves as a constant objective within the game. You get them from defeating bosses, you get them from completing tasks, you can get them from completing challenge rooms. They're also just sprinkled across the environments in unique places that reward you for looking around. It's just an ongoing reason to keep your eyes open and maybe stray off the main path every now and then. There's also other things to find as you look around the game world, such as fossils, which can be used as a currency to buy new outfits for Pauline and Donkey Kong. You can find gold deep under the ground or in seams above ground, and this serves as a currency that you can use to influence the game world, such as contracting rock people, named Fractones, to build helpful doodads to assist your travels. One of the most helpful things they can build is a retreat, which is basically a small base of operations where you can have remote access to shopkeepers, the dressing room, and even a bed if you want a quick mid-level nap, getting your health back and letting you have a little sleepy time chat with Pauline. And if you skip this nap time dialogue, you're a monster.
Well, Rumi, good night.
With how much of the game's problem solving is derived from beating up the landscape, you'd be shocked to discover that this is a readily transferable skill when dealing with enemies. You'll find that most of the foes within the game, be they boss or bog standard baddie, are crafted out of the same materials that you can be crushing through at a minute-to-minute basis, so you can react accordingly. The same looming stone dude that you easily punch through at the start of the game will turn up later, now crafted out of lava or metal, quickly asking you to think on your hand-like feet how you wish to handle this concerning turn of events. This is then represented similarly, albeit at a much larger scope, with bosses. The enormous machinations of the Voidco often take a theme that is relevant to the current layer you're on and incorporate some of the unique mechanics that you may have encountered during your travels, such as using snow to cool down a superheated something so that you can actually punch it, or perhaps sprinkle in a recent Bananza transformation to push the ante a little further. It's probably also worth mentioning that Donkey Kong solves his problems in a very gorilla-like style. Like, this isn't Mario deftly ducking and weaving for an opportunity to butt stomp on someone 3 times. This is Donkey Kong unloading both barrels of primate punching power and just beating the living crap out of his target. And I mean, it's oddly cathartic for a game to openly invite you to just rain haymakers on your problems. Like quite literally, crack the shell, then smash the nut that is inside, Kong style. Aesthetically, it's worth mentioning the game is genuinely beautiful to look at. And like, given the depth of mechanics that's happening with the destruction, you'd almost forgive them if they made the game look, sort of consciously simple, dialing down the presentation to make sure that things run smoothly. But they didn't. Bananza looks spectacular. And knowing what the Switch 2 is capable of, it's amazing to see the hardware properly delivering. There's also a very deliberate measure taken with music within the game, which, it's unsurprising given that it does form a reasonably large part of the title's identity. Mad shoutouts to the elderly DJ crew once more, and it results in a hefty selection of real bangers that are welcome every time you hear them. There's even a handful of classic remix tracks, with a couple of surprises, so keep your ears out for those. Genuinely, the only negative point I can muster is that the game can really struggle when you seriously turn up the destructive carnage. But I have to clarify, this is not a common thing. When the game starts to chug, it's during a moment where it makes perfect sense, with a screen absolutely chock full of particles and terrain just being catastrophically manipulated. The only way to solve this problem would be to scale it back and stress the system less. But to do so would probably rob that moment of its awe-inspiring potential. Maybe it'll look better on the Switch 3, who knows. Oh, and photo mode is really bare bones. But I'm not taking points off to that. What Nintendo has built here is magnificent, but its beauty only really starts to shine when you smash it to pieces. It's an entirely unique feeling of freedom, one where restraint is a luxury. It's a sometimes food at a buffet of mad, delicious morsels with no limit to your frenzied feasting. I deeply envy the generation of kids who will grow up with Donkey Kong Bananza as their cornerstone gaming memory, because man, they are eating so good. Bananza is a game so committed to its premise that you can't help but revel in the gorgeous, destructive genius of it all. The world is your oyster, so why not punch it to pieces?